Hey, Jennifer Aceto Caravan here. So in this video, I'm going to tackle a big issue that I find as I am consulting with individuals. And first, I just want to share with you what happened to me when I was being interviewed on a podcast. The host had asked me, well, Jen, as a mindset and manifestation coach, how do you actually help people? And the very first thing that I said was, well, I have to know what exactly is it that they want. And the next thing I said in that interview was that question alone, which is like step number one for majority of people, for everyone, is such a loaded question, actually. Okay. So what to do if you don't know what you want? If you don't know what you want, this is what happens. And you can watch my other video on this topic. The topic is drifting. So you don't want to drift through life. How do you not drift? You got to know what you want. Here's the problem. The majority of people are not really clear about this. So this is a very, very chronic issue. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get in touch with your true self so that you can gain clarity as to what you truly, truly want. This is a chronic issue for majority of people. As I began to consult with individuals about the life that they would want to create, we're talking about conscious creation, okay? I would obviously start out by asking, well, what is it that you would want? And two things would happen. Number one, they were unsure. And number two, they would tell me what they thought they wanted. There's a distinction here. There's a distinction with what you truly want and something you were told you're supposed to want, right? And I could tell when people were telling me what they thought they wanted that it completely fell flat. Like there was no energetic transference to me as they're telling me this. I could tell that they were not truly emotionally involved with what they were saying that they wanted, okay? So their goals and their dreams almost felt like they were just stuck here in the head. They were just intellectual concepts instead of truly inspired visions that needed to be acted upon. It was almost as if they were parrots, like they were mimicking what they had been told all along their life about what they were supposed to want in life. So why does this type of uncertainty and lack of clarity happen? I say it's a systemic issue, and it's caused by sheeple mindset, right? Meaning it's the herd mentality that we've all been shaped by in life. And as a species, as human beings, that's how we survived. We had to be part of a herd in order to survive. But now we've evolved as a species and we can break away from the herd and we can determine our own destinies. But people are still acting like sheep and just following the herd. Now, imagine living your life for all these years, right? You're doing what you're supposed to be told, what you're told to do. Maybe you are acting the way you're supposed to act. You are going to school the way you're supposed to go to school. You're getting the career you're supposed to get a career in because that's success, right? And then you start the family, etc., etc. And you just lived your life in this way. And then all of a sudden, here is this coach or a mentor or a thought leader that you're watching on YouTube or some other piece of content online. Maybe you went to a live event and this person suddenly says, well, what is it that you want? And this person is actually asking you very seriously. How many times have you actually been asked this in your life? So really think about it. As a child, teenage years, early 20s, when someone's actually asking, well, what is it that you want? Majority of the population has never really been asked, sincerely asked, and has had their ideas validated and nurtured. So it's no one's fault, really, right? So we have to peel back at the layers of this. Usually, if we express a dream or an idea that seems like out of the box, it's discouraged or it's suppressed. And it can be discouraged and suppressed by the people closest to us, around us, right? So have grace. Have grace for yourself. What is it that you want can become a very loaded question. A majority of people are not raised to think independently. A majority of people are not rewarded for thinking independently. So we find ourselves repetitiously fed what we are supposed to want by family, environment, school, our peers, right? So how do we get to the genuineness of the desire, the authentic desire? And why is it important to get to this authentic desire, which means you have to tap into your true self? Why does it matter? Because if you probably have noticed that when you really, really want something, like a deep, deep desire, it creates a magnetic force around your energy field. When you truly want something, yes, you make it happen. There's a big part about hustle culture and, really go after it. It's very male oriented, right? But also your energy becomes very female in the sense that you draw it to you as well, because that energy is actually cultivated from within, not just going after things, right? So when you really tap into what you truly want, your energy becomes a lot more magnetic. You attract all the circumstances and the resources, the people, anything you need to manifest a desire. But the thing is, you got to know, what is it that you really, really want? When you touch upon this, your head as well as your heart are in alignment. And you will find, because your energy is in alignment, the universe will truly conspire in your favor. And there is flow. When that head and heart space is not in alignment, that's where you feel the resistance and you have all these problems that pop up. And you find yourself really chasing after something and never reaching it. So here are a few ideas to consider as you open up to your true self and begin to imagine a life that's very authentic to you. And you're touching upon it because there are three things that's going to happen. You're waking up enthusiastic about what you do in life. So you feel good about what you do in life. It's not something you have to do, right? You just feel enthusiastic about doing it. You're surrounded by people you absolutely love to be surrounded by. And you're free of any financial worries. So you want to ask yourself these questions that will lead you to that more authentic desire within yourself. And feel free to write these down and answer them later so that you can actually be quiet with yourself, right? And you can let go and write down your ideas. So these questions are, number one, what does a life I love look like? That's number one. What does a life I love look like? And you have to allow the images to come to you naturally in your mind's eye. Trust yourself. The second question is, how does life look like that I'm living in health and vitality? So you may tune into, well, what exactly does health and vitality look like to me, right? It is your physical body, but we're talking about mental health too. We're talking about spiritual health, really. And when you really tune into vitality, that means many things as well. So what does life look like that I'm so healthy in every aspect of health? There's financial health, right? And vitality. The third question is, what does life look like that I'm actually living my true nature and purpose? Let me say that one more time. What does life look like living in my true nature and purpose? So the fourth question is, and I have to give a little bit of a background behind this. If you were to truly believe that you are the predominant creative force in your life. Okay? I want you to really think about that. I want you to say to yourself right now, I am the predominant creative force in my life. If you truly believe that, nothing outside of you would influence what you think, what you feel, and what you do. Okay? So the fourth question is, let's just assume that you actually believe that. Because I'm telling you, majority of people don't. But let's assume that you are the predominant creative force in your life. Let's just assume, what would your day look like? You would probably prioritize things very differently in your day, my friend. So let that sit with you. Bring these ideas to your gut. Did you know that your gut is actually a very powerful thinking center? Okay? You have more neurons in your abdomen than you do in your brain. Scientifically, they've proven this. You have the same digestive enzymes that are in your stomach. They're actually in what's housed your cranium, that's housed in your brain. Okay, so this level of consciousness and this level of consciousness are very much interrelated. That's why I say, with these ideas, with these questions, bring it to your gut, bring it to your abdomen. Answer from there. So then you can ask yourself these questions. Okay, what is it that I would love to see manifest in my personal life? Not professional, we're making a distinction, but my personal life. You want to write everything down. You have to give yourself permission. Number one, to give yourself time to do this. I think majority of people don't even do this. And write down, well, what is it I really want personally? The act of writing alone will stimulate more thoughts, okay? And when we start thinking more of possibility, this is how subtle this is and very significant at the same time, we start regenerating different neurons in our brain. Our whole nervous system starts to rewire once we start thinking in this trajectory. So for those of you in business, or maybe you have a career, you want to ask yourself this. What is it that I would love to see manifested in my career or business? Write down everything that comes to your mind. And here's the caveat. You do not consider the how. You don't. I'm going to talk about this in another video. The how is overrated. It really is. Okay? So I want you to focus only your mind on the what, personally, professionally, and the why. So let's get into the why a little bit. Okay, so we will go into the why. Now, before that, just a few things to consider. You heard me say this in a previous video about deciding on things. So other things to consider is, what are some of the material things that I would love to manifest in my life? What are some of the happenings I would love to see happen in my life? And the third is, what are some of the new beliefs I would like to have about myself? Okay. Remember that every time we ask questions, the mind is always seeking the answer. So learn to ask yourself really, really great questions. So we are getting clear on the what, right? We look at this list, make it as long as possible. Nothing's too much, nothing's too small or too big. And you want to check each item. And you will feel this within yourself if it's really authentic to you. This is the litmus test. You're going to ask, why is this important to me? Why? Why is it important that you want this thing? Why is it important that you want this occurrence to happen? Why is it important that you want to believe this new belief about yourself? And if the reason isn't at the very least, well, it's just because I want it. Because if what comes up is, well, mom told me to. Or if something comes up that says, then I'm going to be so important in life, and I'm going to feel so secure in life. So the litmus test in looking at this list, the litmus test in finding out if it's really genuine to you, is you want to ask yourself, why is this important to me? And then you answer the question. If the reason behind it isn't at the very least, it's just simply because I want this, then most likely it wasn't your idea in the first place. Yes, you heard me correctly. I want you to consider something. If a person has been exposed to so many ideas over and over again in their heads, that person will accept that idea and may actually believe it's their own, but the truth is it's not. Repetition programs our subconscious mind. Okay? So ask yourself, why is this important? And if it isn't at the very least, it's just because I want it, then most likely it's not your idea. It may have come from parents. It may have come from the people you hung out with when you were young. These are all ideas that were just planted in your head subconsciously. And ideas that are repetitiously given to us start programming us. Do you understand where I'm coming from with this, okay? Here's the thing. To create a life that you truly want, it's going to take energy, and it's going to take a new way of thinking. It's going to take courage, and it's going to take a lot of honesty. They say that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So begin by asking yourself really good questions. Open up your heart, think, and write with great freedom. Then you're ready to actually take the journey, and that in and of itself is a whole new thing to talk about, and I will be covering that in future videos. But for now, please love, like, and subscribe to this video and share it with those you feel would really benefit from hearing this. See you next time.